Hey guys, it's Ellen here, and we're doing some watercolor practice, and this time it's greenery for your Christmas, all your Christmas cards and gifts, whatever you want to do. You take these elements and you take them as you learn how to paint them, and then you can create anything with them. You can create a card, a wreath, some kind of cute little spray thing for imitation, whatever. I'm sure you guys can figure it out. You can make an ornament. You can paint it on a piece of wood. You can translate the watercolor and grab some acrylic paint and do the same thing. I'm telling you, you can do the same thing. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. Please don't forget to hit the bell notification button to know my tutorials up. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Also, check out my Patreon. I have ad-free videos, traceables, exclusive tutorials on Thursdays, live stream once a month on the top tier, as well as a download from me. And it's just a place people go and support my channel, which I appreciate. You can check it out right up here. Boop. So without further ado, let's get painting some greenery. Okay guys, so let's just go over supplies. I'm just using a piece of Arch 100% cotton cold pressed paper. This is like a 9x12 sheet just to show you how to do the practice of this greenery. I have my Princeton 8 long round Velvet Touch Series brush. I might use a 4, but I think I can pretty much do everything with the Princeton 8 today. I have my water jars up here, my paper towel, and my paints. Now I've already mixed up a few colors. Greens are pretty easy to mix. You can mix them yourself. I'm sure you know how to. I take yellow, right, this color, and I mix it with peacock blue to get this. It was like 50-50. And for this one, it was yellow and Prussian blue to get a deeper green. And then I like to mix my reds, which is cadmium yellow deep, again, with magenta, quinachradone magenta. So, in all my tutorials, I show you how I mix these greens. It's kind of crazy. And then I have this burnt umber color, which is nice. And then I like to mix this often with this color called neutral tint to get like a deeper brown. So this is good to have just to start with the colors for this watercolor practice. And for like pine trees or spruces or, junipers, maybe add a little more blue tones, And for like the eucalyptus, a little more of the peacock blue, because it's kind of like a blue-green, like kind of, I would say, not turquoise, but in that kind of family, like a silver kind of green. So let's start off with something really simple, like a pine. I will take my brown, whatever brown you can mix. So I get my burnt umber here, and I'll mix a little of this neutral tint. Like I said, I like to have it a little bit deeper. And we'll just start off by taking the tip. Another trick is to hold your pinky kind of like this here for a guide. If you can lift it up, I'm going to do a curved motion just like that with special sound effects, right? So I'm going to zoom in. So you clean off that brush and you're going to be grabbing your mini greens here. Like we've got there's two different types of greens, and I like to mix the greens because if you don't mix the greens, it looks like a fake kind of, plant. You want it more natural, and in nature, you're going to find many different colors in every variety of green and floral, whatever you see. So you want to kind of do the same thing. I'm going to put a little more yellow in this green, actually. Grab some more yellow and a little more brown. So we can start off using this bright green, and we're going to go take the same green that's on our brush and mix in the dark green. So we're just going to do these movements like this. You're just moving out, out like this. And you're clustering it kind of towards the branch though. So the pine, just go out like this. See? Very simple. If you have a good brush, you can do this. Now, like I said, I like to do the two-tone. I'm going to go back over this with the darker green. And it'll look more natural. Just get the simple pine. When you have all the elements finished and figured out how to paint them, you combine them into a design. You can combine them into a wreath. You can combine them into, you can add it with flowers and make a nice greenery for a card. So now we've got that light green down. Take that off if you want, or keep it on your brush. And I grab the darker green. Grab a little more Prussian blue in this one. And think I'm gonna have to add a little more yellow and a little brown. Now, it's still wet on this side. I can see it. And if it's still wet, it's gonna bleed. But that could look nice too. See? Get the little thin lines. This is how I like to create my green sometimes. So the pine has got a couple of combinations of colors. Now you can do it again without it. I'll show you a little one over here. We could start off just using the pine itself. And then go and add the stem, just grabbing the same brown right in there and get a little one. See? This is a little more like with a little brighter green. If you want to make a deeper blue, add a little Prussian blue to that and make some deeper pine coming up tippy top. Just two ways of doing it. So that's the pine. You've got the pine down. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to another like greenery, which is the eucalyptus. Again, simple. See, now we have all these colors mixed up. This is the little trick. I take the peacock blue. I'm gonna go right in here with my green. It's gonna have that more turquoisey kind of blue. And keep adding some more peacock. See, a little on the turquoise side. I do add a little touch of umber. And I water it down. I always kind of check too, if I don't like, before I put the color down, to get a little piece of scrap. Nah, still a little blue. I want a little more blue. And a little more brown to get the perfect color. Yes. There we go. So if you can paint a circle, you can make some eucalyptus leaves, right? So we'll start off painting a little circle right here. It's a little circle. And with this paper, it's going to lend itself to be kind of like a rough circle. It's not going to be a perfect circle. Then I would kind of do like a triangle. Do another one over here. Right? Another one over here. Think in terms of triangle as you're going down the branch. Right? And you don't have to have them perfect, kind of imperfect. See how I'm kind of making them not have this perfect round shape. Then you kind of want to put another one down below this one. It's kind of like an oval circle. And another one here. Just this, you can put one in front also for this branch. And this one's a little bit bigger. And you're just going to grab some brown. Oops, sorry. So you did the circle. Grab some brown. Again, same kind of brown we had before. Right? And you're going to curve the branch. You're going to curve the branch again. Curve the branch again. See what we're doing here? I'm curving the branch. Now you might want to let it dry because if it doesn't bleed into this one, for all purpose, you know, just us doing the practice. And see, I did the branch down, kind of left curve out here. And you can add another one out here, a little one on the side, and a little one down below while those are drying. You want to put the vein in the middle. It could be the brown vein, but I would prefer a darker color of the eucalyptus. So see, I'm making some small ones here. I think I got a nice little branch going here. Looking very natural. So we'll wait till this dries and we'll throw in the vein. So we'll move on and we'll come back. We can do a nice kind kind of like a cedar greenery. Now they have like, I have a bunch of I had a bunch of these trees in my front yard. We just removed all the and got rid of the big bushes and put some small ones. So it's kind of like a branch with little branches off it with little greens. It's pretty easy. Again, grab the brown for your little guide, right? And I'm just going to go like this. We'll just curve it here this way. Zoom back out. So we're going brown branch here, curving it up this way, right? All right, so now we're going to grab our greens from there. We're going to extend this branch with the green, right? And we're going to make these little branches off of that, just like this. Zoom in so you can see. And off these little branches, I'm going to water it down. I'm going to add a little more yellow to my green here. I want it to be a blue-green, but also not so blue-green. We're going to do little teeny branches off the branches. You see that? Zooming in. Little marks, like little branches off the branches. So we'll do another one here. Just like that for the cedar. And we're going to bend it again. Do the little branches. Just these little marks, like this. See that? You're creating a cedar. Some of them can crisscross over over each other. Kind of reminds me of like a winter fern in a way, but they will crisscross. So you gotta let those dry, and you can go put them on top of each other. One up here, kind of curving. And I wouldn't put it on both sides. You can put it on just on one side. I'm gonna add some more green. Sorry, mixing up my greens. You have to mix up a good amount of green, by the way, or you'll be like me, stopping. And then put like another one like right after that. Again. Another one crisscross over. I wouldn't put them like again on both sides. And then we got one here. Same thing, a little crisscross on each side. And this, you can go back in here and add some brown with this green. A little deeper. We've got your cedar. Do another one here. Isn't that pretty? Zooming out. We're moving on. Well, naturally, we got to do some greens with berries. I mean, we could just do a branch of berries itself. So we just grab our brown. I add a little neutral tint for guiding. And we'll just make a nice little branch. We'll just do like a line here. A couple of lines on the side here and here. Zoom in. Do a couple more branches off the branches, and that will help guide you to where the berries should go. So like I said, I mixed up this nice red, and this is a little bit watery. If you kind of go in here and remove some of it, it won't bleed too much into the berries. Now, I have a nice red here. You can keep it solid red, but you want to bleed in like a nice little deeper red if you can. So again, circle, but you leave a little white. That's a lot of water. I'm lifting up some of this water. You can see the puddle, kind of puddling here. Sometimes another trick you can do is just use that puddle and use that paint and move it around. Now you can make your berries bigger or smaller. Just trying to go pretty fast here. And am I not perfect? This shouldn't have to be perfect. Just simple berries. Once it's dry, you can add a little highlight of like a deeper red. I would just do it on the bottom half. You can add berries. Remember the eucalyptus dried? We can go back in and add just a darker tone of that color we mixed and put it right in here for the vein. See that? Pretty. Moving on. I say we should do some holly. It isn't Christmas without some holly. Now I'm going to get it on the brighter side of this. Again with the two-tone greens. Adding yellow, peacock blue, get a bright green, take the same green, and I add Prussian blue to make a deeper, darker green. I add Prussian blue and I add a little burnt umber. I like to make deeper, darker green. Okay. So, again, you don't have to draw this. Envision like the holly leaves here. I would tone the paper a little bit. In a V. Holly. Here we go. Gotta mix up some more paint because we're gonna need a lot of paint. So it's a swooping kind of movement like this, right? You can guide yourself where you're gonna put it. If you do need to put a pencil down, like a line to guide, here I'll have one leaf here, I'll have like one leaf here, one leaf here. So from this line, you're gonna, is the tip of it, swoop, curve to the left, curve to the left, curve again, curve again, curve, 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 and then kind of meet them. See, I just take the paint, very loose, it's kind of very wet. I leave a little white. If it's too wet, just lift up some of that paint, put it on that paper towel. And there you go. So you do use the 3 lines. 1, 2, connect. 1, 2, connect. It's like a little dance. And you see how I just fill in kind of the edges, not the middle. Leave a little white in the middle. You can make it as pointy as you want, less pointy. Just get used to that. The line will just help you guide for the tips are. And then, so we had that dark green already mixed. You just kind of bleed in some of this on the tips and on the edges of these leaves. Just helps it look, you know, and if you can really just go in and grab some, like a deep blue, like a Prussian blue, and bleed that in too. It's pretty, right? We're going to put berries in here, so you want to put another one. I did have it like here. I think what you should do is when you're doing holly, figure out where you want the berries to be placed too. So I'll put some berries, you know, here. Again, the same kind of, just leave a little white. The lines are very loose, and if it's very loose, you can just grab some of that paint on your paintbrush, make a nice little cluster. I have a few loose ones kind of out here, just to make it look more natural. And then we do another holly leaf again. So from here, you could do one here, but we won't see it. You know, again, it's that curve. Envision that behind this one. That bright light green, and then I'll go in and I'll bleed in the deeper toned green. So now the red's bleeding in this. This is kind of fun though. I actually kind of like when the colors do that. You might not like it, so you just might have to lift up some of that paint, or take a paper towel. That's what we keep them there for, right? Fix that. It will dry it. You can go back in and add that red in a bit, and we bleed in this nice green. Just going to change that color. We can go back in and fix that red. Once that dries, I'd wait till it dries. You want to also make, you know, it just seems kind of stale and stagnant. Add a little green like this. Just kind of did this with my brush. You see that? And the different colors. What do you mean by stagnant? I don't know. It seems kind of flat and boring. Holly. And we're going to move on. Now we're going to do another branch. You know, there's spruces, there's pines, there's junipers, and then there's just branches that have berries on them, you know, combination. Put one up here. Just one that's kind of missing up here. And then you can kind of combine all this stuff into like one pretty little element of like a wreath. So I'm going to grab more of that peacock blue, mix it in with my deeper green, yellow. I want on the blue tones. Again with the little brown too. Kind of like the eucalyptus. You want a variety of greens. You don't want the same old, same old. When you're doing any kind of Christmas, you know, greenery design. Okay. I mix it up again with the tip of my brush. So I'll curve this way. I'm going to turn the paper. So you can turn the paper, guys. Don't feel like you can't. So it's going to be a simple swoop up kind of leaf. So you're going to go like this. Take your brush. I'll zoom in so you can see. Making sure that I'm right there. Okay. Swoop up and back. See? Up and back. Might add a little more brown to this green. Play around with your greens. I'm not loving the green. I'm going to add a little more brown, a little more blue. Playing around with it. Okay. I'm swooping up and back. I feel like it got a little too dark, so I'm going to water it down. I did want to put a vein in it, but hey. Can't win them all. And then you could do another little branch off this one. Swoop up and back. See? You're creating like a whole nother look. Swoop up and back. Now, I don't really necessarily give this a name, but just kind of like making a pretty green. And you can grab a little brown. Put some little brown little V's. See this? And then we're going to add berries to that. I go back over here, make a nice swoop up and back. Greenery again, just like we did in the beginning, to balance it at the end. And I'll go back into the stem and fix the color that seemed a little off. See? Whoop. And put another one down here. I know the colors are all kind of funky, all different, but that doesn't matter. So you clean that off, and you grab your red again, and you put some little berries in here. You can make them a little bit bigger. Don't be afraid to paint like right over the green too, by the way. You know? And if you have bleeds because it was wet, like I said, just go back in and lift up the paint. Wait till it dries, go back in and add it. Like I'm going to go back and add some berries up this way. So I've got my magenta. And I'm mixing some. See, I mixed my magenta and I grab my yellow. My magenta. Makes a nice pretty red. If you don't have red and you have those two colors, see, I'm going to add these berries up here. Just like that. Still bleeding on that one, but we can fix that. Okay, zooming back out. Going back in here and fix this little berry here. So we've got our greens with our berries. We can add a couple more little, we can add like a Magnolia leaf, which is just a simple leaf. Again with our green. And what's a magnolia leaf? Well, it's just like a regular Joe kind of leaf. Just put one up here. I like to mix my greens and add a little brown, but so curve. Water this down. You're curving with your brush. Adding another curve on the other side. See how I left that little white space? I kind of like to do that. And then you take the paint, see it's still puddling here, and you just kind of push it like a little branch right there. That's a simple leaf. And you can go in like I showed you before. You take the blue. If you want a little blue, a little deeper kind of color tones to it, add some blue in there. Again, curve. Right? Curve again. This is how you create these simple leaves. This is basic 101 leaf. I like to leave a little white, push the little stem there, and then add a little blue. This is just straight up Prussian blue I'm adding, watered down. Simple, right? And there you go. And you can just keep playing with, like, you know, this pine, maybe a little too bright green for you. I don't know. I might add a little more blue to my green. See, look at that Prussian blue. It makes it nice and deep. Those greens. Go back in here and darken it up a little bit. Right on top of the ones you did. And even down here. And you can play around with adding all, you know, make up your own. You can add little teeny ones, like a little branch here. Right? A little branch off of that. And just like this one, and just these little swipes. So zoom in so you can see. Just these little swipes, and they create a nice, kind of like another kind of pine. I think they call that like a redwood pine. See? And that would be really pretty. And keep it in different tones too. You could do like a silver blue, green kind of color. And you have all these pretty greens to play around with. Now we made a little mess over here. I keep my videos real, guys. Clean it up with the water. Paper towel. See I'm taking the water in here and just lifting up the paint. Let that dry. You go right back over that. See some of the red kind of fizzled out. You can go right back over some of your red. You can add a little deeper red, like I have a crimson here. Just on the bottom, like I talked about. Just gives it that little something something to make it pop. You guys, don't be afraid. I mean, don't, because just make a mistake. I make mistakes all the time. You kidding? All the time. See? You just clean that up and you just go back on here and go right back over that. Right back over that, and I'll go back in and I'll add some that Prussian blue. You know I like my blue. It's like it never happened, right? Simple. Also, let me show you something else. Last but not least, if you have like gold paint, I have this acrylic ink paint. It's stained my palette here, but this is where I'll use a number 4 brush. Let me just clean up some of this. Just take some of that nice pretty gold. And you want to wash your brush right away. So we can make the same branches we did here, we can do with just one kind of paint color. And you just, it's like an accent. So you go here and you make, again, like the branch. And just make little movements like we did before. Like this one. And you've got this pretty gold branch you can add to your repertoire. Just, you know, these are just other things you can do. Make a little berry kind of branch here. See, circle, connect, bend that, connect. You guys gotta break out of your shell. Add another one, just like simple pines. And all these little elements, when you combine them, you create a great design. Now, when you're using this kind of stuff, if you're using your watercolor brushes, please wash it right away, because you'll ruin it. So those are the watercolor greenery practice. Now you can go in and tweak it. Like I said, you get that magnolia. Maybe you want to add like a vein next to it. I fill it in, you know, I'm going to make this deep green. Highlight that with a little vein next to it. Don't have to do that. Tweak all the stuff. I would probably clean up my little red mess here, but this is really simple. And you can go in here. See, this looks a little flat. Just go in here and add a couple little sprays of the deeper green. And same thing with any of these branches. See, the brown looks kind of flat. You go in and add a deeper brown just underneath where the berry is. And that just pops it. These are all little tricks. Again, same thing. So this is our watercolor practice for Friday. Very simple. And then when you combine it, right, draw a circle. Don't paint the whole thing, right? Draw a circle and you put in each element and build on top of each other in a circle. And it would leave like the top up. And you'd have like a wreath. Simple as that. So that's that. I mean, you know I'm doing real-time tutorials when I noticed that my lighting was way over exposed. Sorry, guys. Yeah, but that's how I roll. If I do an edited version, then you're going to get boring old me. This is the real me. So, like I said, take these elements, put them in a composition, see what you come up with. Like I said, you combine them all in one area in the corner you got to design. You can put them in a wreath. Play around with it. These are super easy greens. You guys can do this. Trust me. Don't say you can't. I don't want to hear it. Have a great weekend, guys. Thank you guys for being amazing supporters on my channel. I appreciate it. And listen, don't stress. Don't sweat the small stuff. It's just paint. It's just paper. It's not, you know, you're not creating some thing that's gonna like ruin the world. So you're creating joy, and feel that. Don't get frustrated. You know, just if you screw up, do it again. That's all you do. I screw up all the time, so don't worry about it. All right, guys, take care, and I'll speak to you soon.